Welcome to House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Vic, the producer. And unfortunately, Gilbert Manzano is not joining me today, but I'm here writing solo after a big win on the road for the Rams as they defeat the Seahawks 30-17. What a great win for the Rams. This was going up to Lumen Stadium and just making things look easy. Matt Stafford with a huge game today, going 24 of 34 for 334 yards. Yeah, Kyron Williams with 2 touchdowns on 15 carries for 52 yards and as we said, with 2 touchdowns. Cam Akers, 22 carries, only 29 yards, but also had a scoring touchdown. So great overall look for the Rams today. It was just good to see, kind of what I predicted. I've been talking about the Rams all off season, and especially after we went up to up to Orange County or UC Irvine and checked out the Rams for that Sunday training camp, and it was you could see that they Stafford was looking a lot more fresh. He wanted to prove something this season. He came into camp early, was throwing the ball around, and I thought the offense showed out today, and exactly what we've been talking about during preseason and then into training camp. And so, I mean, Puka Nakua, what one more can I say about this guy? He had 10 receptions for 119 yards. Tutu Adwell he's been the question. I know I asked Gilbert about this. I talked about because he was looking good in training camp, and I asked Gilbert. I said, "Hey, are we going to start believing in Tutu Adwell?" He wasn't sure. He says, "I've seen this before." He said, "I want to wait and see." And sure enough, Tutu Adwell came out today and had 6 catches for 119 yards. Just great offensive sequence from the Rams today. It was good to see. Defensively, they look good as well. Yeah, they started off slow against a high power Seahawks offense that was expected to do great things this season, and they didn't. They had a bunch of injuries early on in this game. But to hold the Seahawks to what was it, 13 points at home. That was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a lot of sacks going around for the Rams defense. You know, um, you had what was it? What did I have on here? You had Kobe Turner, Aaron Donald, Michael Hoyt, and Byron all with a half a sack. So that there wasn't a lot of pressure. I don't think the Seahawks took advantage of some of the weaknesses that the Rams presented, but it was just a masterful coaching job by Sean McVay today. And as he talked about, I was before I hopped on, I was listening to his press conference, and he was very complimentary of the players. Guys like Puka Nakua, about how he's so mature for the player that coming into his first season in the NFL. I mean, and it showed because he became the fourth player in NFL history to have 10 receptions and over 100 yards in his first career game. I mean, guy, the other guys were, 2018 Kiki QT. You got in 2003 it was Edquan Bolden, and then in 1964 Sid Blank. So he joined a good crowd there for Puka Nakua. He looked, he looked like he was, no Cooper Kupp, but Puka Nakua really stepped up and did the job. It was, I think when Cooper Kupp came in, he was wearing number 17, and so that was he was like I told Gilbert when I saw him during training camp, he looked like Cooper Kupp out there, and so he proved it. He's gonna get the ball in this offense, especially with Cooper Kupp out. He's gonna get a lot of targets from Matthew Stafford, and then just going back to Matthew Stafford, and the offensive line. I got to give the offensive line credit here. I know a lot of people were not high on this offensive line just because of everything that has transpired last season. And sure enough, they didn't allow a sack today. And then Matthew Stafford was out there running with the ball, getting first downs. It was just great seeing Matthew Stafford, and you can you can see what big of a difference he makes for this Rams offense. And for Sean McVay, I think that's why Sean McVay was really excited about this season, and it had to do with Matthew Stafford being healthy. And so having him back has, it showed today that you can win some games, especially when you have Matthew Stafford. And then just like, there's a lot of praise to go around, just not with the players, but the coaching staff getting this team prepared to go up to a hostile environment that is Lumen Field. The 12s get up for games up there. They're known for, their home field advantage. I know a lot of people did not give the Rams uh any shot in this game, as we gave out our picks, for the preview. I told Gilbert, I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on this Rams team, but I just felt what I had seen was was really good, and they went out there and showed it. And so I know I had to score 21-17. That didn't come out. It was 30-13. So it was good to see. But if you guys have any comments, any you we're gonna record something later on between Gilbert and I. He's on assignment. He's working for SI now. So I'll be doing a short live edition at post game, every game after the game. So I'll be on here. If you guys send in your comments, we'll try to answer them during that recording. So yes, it was an impressive win for the Rams today. And just listening to Sean McVay's presser, you can tell that he's really enjoying this. He said that he hasn't been listening to any, the noise out there about they're going to be bad, they're trying to tank, you know, um, and I know there's a lot of, talk about this being a gap season. I know it's one game. It's the first game of the season. They're just getting started, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But this was an impressive win to be able to go on the road against a Seattle team that had a lot of expectations, especially after making the playoffs. As I told Gilbert, like I'm not, I was high on them post the draft, but then I kind of, went off. I came off the bandwagon just because of a lot of things that I saw with the team. And now for the Rams, their schedule continues to be tough. It'll be interesting to see, the 49ers. They just destroyed the Steelers, in Pittsburgh today, and so that'll be a good matchup. It'll be interesting to see what they do against a formidable defense like the 49ers are. And it'll be a good home opener for Rams fans. They'll get to enjoy and have some hope, now going into that game. I know there wasn't a lot of expectations for this Rams team, but at least you can enjoy this win. And then it's always, NFL is always hard to win. And so when you can win games like this, especially on the road in a tough environment like Seattle is, you take it. But like I said, the defense was really impressive as well. I mean, there wasn't they and we talked about it. Raheem Morris, this is going to be this is when he needs to show up, because he's got some of his players that he's been wanting. He had Brandon Staley's players before that, and so now that he has his own players, he's able to run the scheme that he wants. As we talked about, there was a lot of talk in terms of their defense, in terms of being more aggressive, the corners and also the linebackers. And so it'll be interesting to see, how, from week to week, how they if they how they adjust to the teams that they're playing. But I mean, to hold Seattle to 13 points with, those three receivers, they had those two running backs with, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. You thought this is, everybody expected a high scoring affair, even if, or Seattle to score a bunch of points. They did not. And so, that there you go. I mean, that was huge for the Rams today. I mean, that, like I said, 13 points, holding Seattle to 13 points is something that you have to give them credit for. And Raheem Morris, I know a lot of people weren't happy with him last season, and he's being able to hold uh, the as I talked about Seahawks for holding for 13 points. That was really impressive. And Aaron Donald, it was good to see him. He missed the last 6 games of the season. Just seeing him out there, he made a big difference. He allowed Kobe Turner to get the sack there. I was kind of confused as to why he got half a sack, because it looked like he was the one that got the sack. So but they gave him half a sack there, which I didn't understand. But outside of that, I know there was a graphic on Fox where they talked about um, uh, Puka Nakua and Tutu Adwell becoming like the first duel to have over 100 yards. That was pretty impressive as well. And then the last thing I just want to talk about, I'm just gonna make this short and sweet, is Brett Maher coming in from the practice squad after the Rams cut their kicker. He goes 3 for 5, both misses. One of them was blocked. The other one was over 50 yards. So I mean, hey, he was steady. He was steady today, and that's all you can ask for from a kicker. But with that I just, like I said, send your comments on here. If you hop on later on, send us your comments. We'll get to them when Gilbert and I come together and record the show, our give our final thoughts and things like that. We'll give our 12 pack of the game to a player. I know there's a lot of players to choose from here: Stafford, Puka Nakua, Tutu Adwell, or the defense, Raheem Morris. But great job by the Rams today. It was expected from me, as I talked about it in the preview, but I know a lot of people who haven't seen this team up close during preseason and training camp. I know there wasn't a lot of people who expected much from this Rams team. So it was just good to see that on the field, what I've been seeing. And so I can't wait to talk about it with Gilbert. But for now, that's pretty much it from me. And Ram fans, enjoy this win. It's well deserved. You have McVay coaching your team, and Matthew Stafford is back healthy, and he's gonna make a big difference. So with that, have a good night, guys. Enjoy this win.